Christine. We are now live on Facebook, so we're streaming. So Christine Pettigrew and I'm Alice Emerson with the Holistic Chamber of Commerce here in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Christine is a member of our chamber, and she's in the real estate market. So she is here to discuss with us the trends that are going on in the real estate market and how it's really been affected with this pandemic, including topics such as the CARE Act and forbearance and going into the trends and procedures. So Christine, I really appreciate you being a member of the chamber.
Thanks for
and
having me.
I know you live like a holistic lifestyle, so you understand our community and our people, but real estate typically isn't seen as, a holistic business. And so I just wanted to kind of clarify that, because the members of our chamber do not have to have a healing business. It just means they have to be, they understand the holistic lifestyle and the people that would be looking for services and businesses with that like-mindedness. So thank you so much. I've enjoyed getting to know you, and
And
your
don't forget
business.
to tell them how we met.
Yeah. We met in the vegan
frozen
aisle of the frozen section of the grocery store, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Meant to be.
It was meant to be. And I'm so glad you're with us and touching on this topic, because, real estate's been deemed as essential. Mm-hmm. So you're still working, and tell us how that is actually going, as far as the real estate market. How are they handling all of this buying, selling, and then also just your background? So I'll let you introduce yourself, give us a little bit of that.
Okay. Yes, Christine Pettigrew, and I've been with Owned Realty. This is my 5th year, and the reason why I chose them, they're one of the largest real estate agencies in the Charleston area. And there's a different vibe at every agency, and I totally felt at home. It's like a family atmosphere. Everyone helps each other. And our broker in charge, Liz Lodeholt, she is very experienced, has been in the business since 1976. And her and her husband own various brokerages, and they started Owned Realty in 1992. And we have several hundred agents now in 12 different locations, mostly in the Charleston and surrounding areas. And we also have an office in Anderson and Sumter. So I love agent owned, and we're actually agent owned. So each agent owns a share in the company, and we get amazing training, because our broker is she's authorized to teach continuing ed classes for real estate agents. So she keeps us very up to date and trained on all the different laws, because they change the forms on us frequently, the contracts. So we make sure that we know every line of that contract, so to keep us out of trouble, because if you don't know the contract, you could definitely make a big mistake in a transaction if you forget to check a box. Right. So, but anyway, the way we've been, the market has been remarkable this year. January and February are usually kind of slow, or a little bit slower than the rest of the year. And that's when you have a little time to catch up and do a little training. And for some reason this year, everything was hit the ground running on January 2nd. And there were...
So the year started out very strong.
Very strong and early. I mean, generally that doesn't happen until about March or April. And so we just ran with it, and things were going great until the pandemic hit.
Can't plan for that, that's for sure.
Yeah, and the interest rates are still very low right now. You can, the last I saw on a 15-year fixed, you can still get below 3%, or mid 3s for a 30-year fixed. And of course, that varies with the lenders. But the homes are still being sold right now. There are some people that for one reason or another, still have to buy or sell. And they might
So
have a lease that's getting ready to expire, and their plans were to buy and not have to be in a lease another year. They might be transferring here for the military or another job.
okay, so I mean, the market's still going. There's homes
yeah.
still for sale. There's,
Yeah.
People who are looking to still transfer. I know we just had a neighbor move in last week. I mean,
Yes.
so the real estate market is still, I don't know if I'd say thriving, but it's definitely still going, right?
Yes. And I have some numbers. This past week in the Charleston area, we had 294 homes go under contract this
Wow.
past week. And
This past week.
yes, just this past week, even in the pandemic. And in the first quarter of this year, we had 10% more transactions than we had in 2019. But as an example, on a daily basis, yesterday there were 63 new listings, 41 homes went under contract, and 62 homes closed.
Wow.
Now that is pretty good considering what's going on. It is, however, approximately half of what we were doing last year on the same date. But we've had low inventory this whole year. Generally, there's in the Charleston area on the MLS, it stands for Multiple Listing Service. There's usually more than 5,000 homes for sale at any one time. And we have been below the 5,000 level all year. So usually after December 31st, several homes drop off the MLS because their listing might expire on that date, but usually it recovers within a couple of weeks with new listings. But we never had that recovery. We've been in a low inventory situation all year. Wow. So some of the homes that are out there are being sold very quickly if they're in a great location, priced right. I will say that a lot of the vacant homes are selling quicker right now because obviously there are some agents who don't feel comfortable showing homes that are occupied. And but we are doing other things such as virtual showings. Like if you're a listing agent, you can record a tour, like a virtual tour. And our MLS Charleston realtors, they're allowing us to upload those video tours into the MLS so that buyers can see those. And maybe that helps when they're online shopping to eliminate homes that, that don't have exactly what they want. And that saves everyone from having to go out and do the showings in person. But
do you find that the virtual tours are really narrowing down the physical contact? So some people are just eliminating which ones that they may actually go visit, where before you could spend a whole day, right?
Right.
Sorry about that.
Exactly.
Okay. So
and of course, we're asking, on the listings, we're asking if possible, maybe just the agent come and do a virtual showing. And then if they feel like their buyer is still interested in the home, then we can work out another showing with the buyer. But of course, we ask everyone to wear PPE. Everyone knows what that means now, personal protective equipment. And the sellers will leave all the lights on, the doors open. We try to eliminate as many things as possible that anyone might touch. And of course, we can clean before and after with sanitation wipes. And then something our company is doing, like when we list or sell a home, they generally send out postcards to the surrounding neighborhoods to eliminate some of that and, more mail that people have to touch. We are actually starting a Facebook ad program where those just listed or just sold postcards will be done with geographical targeting of just the people in the area around that home. So that helps a little. Buyers, we want to make sure they're not just out window shopping, because now is not the time to do that. I mean, you need to be a serious buyer, ready to buy, and you've looked at that home online already and you're sure that, you're almost sure that that home fits all your criteria before, we try to schedule a showing. Lenders are tightening up their requirements a little too.
Okay.
So if a buyer was pre-approved prior to the pandemic, they need to check with their lender to make sure everything's still the same, because they have raised the minimum requirements on income, debt, or credit score. And some lenders have also eliminated some of the loan programs that they once had. So they're
Okay.
paring down on that.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of changes. I mean, interest rates are still low, but then you have this consideration as well, the different lending programs that maybe
Yeah.
you were once familiar with, that if you're entering the market again, just to touch base with your lending institution and make sure that you're all up to date, pre-qualified, and, not just window shopping when it comes to being a buyer.
Right. And with so many people being laid off, that has affected a lot of things. I did have some deals fall through because buyers, they might have been in the restaurant business, and just couldn't place that offer, or, one spouse was losing their job and they just were, even though they might still qualify, with the unknown right now, everyone is still a little uneasy about making that commitment. So there are several buyers who are sitting on the fence right now, or just waiting. And there are several sellers who haven't listed their homes because they really don't want strangers coming through their homes right now. So I know that once things open up again and the gates are open, we are going to have a lot of activity all at once. I mean, everyone is going, the real estate market is still going to be fine. We're going to be just as busy.
There is hope, right? There is
Yes.
hope. So for
Yes.
those that are on the fence, I just want to touch on that for a second. This probably would be a good time to start checking on your credit score,
Mhm.
right? And,
Mhm.
finding out about the different programs and keeping up, because it seems like there's a lot of changes in the lending institution that seems to
Yes.
be very quickly changing. And for
Yes.
sellers, why not take the time to spruce up the home and get ready for
Exactly.
this floodgate that you're talking about that will
Yeah.
open? Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a great time for sellers to clean out those closets, make those paint touch-ups, and get the house ready. And I'm willing to do virtual, appointments with them. They can show me their house via FaceTime, and we can go over some of the things that I think they might want to change, or just moving things around. And we can be prepared so that when things open up, we can list that house and get it sold right away. And then also I wanted to touch on the closings. The attorneys, several attorneys are handling the closings differently right now. Obviously, some are not allowing the realtors to attend the closings, which is fine. We don't logistically have to be there. We're there mostly for support for our buyers and sellers. And then some are requiring they bring their own pen, or, the buyers or sellers, or they give them a pen and say, don't give it back. You can keep it.
Right.
So, and, wearing masks and, obviously, and trying to take all the precautions that we can. But
I've even heard of people having closings outside just to really take it to the next step. I mean, the next
yes.
level.
Yeah, there are some that have done that with some little pop-up tents.
Yeah.
So every attorney,
It's a whole new market right now, real estate
Yeah.
in the pandemic time. Who knew?
Yes.
So, well, that's interesting. It seems like everybody's really taking it seriously, but still
Mhm.
being able to continue, with these life changes. People are in this time. So you
Yeah.
have the closings. And I know you wanted to touch on also the CARES Act.
Yes, the CARES Act that they passed allows those with a mortgage, if needed, to get a forbearance. And it sounds good, you know, on the front end, but it doesn't mean that you're forgiven of those payments. It just means they're postponed. And each lender is different, and they're going to have their different requirements on how and when you pay that back. I would recommend that people only do it as a last resort. I mean, do everything you can to make that mortgage payment. Do not miss a payment before you contact your lender. The forbearance in itself should not affect your credit score. But if you miss a payment before it is set up and you let your lender know that you need a forbearance, or if after the end of the forbearance period, you are not able to make that payment to pay it back, that could definitely affect your credit score. So, and get anything in writing. Like when you call your lender and you come to an agreement on how this forbearance is going to work for you, get it in writing and make sure you understand how and when you're going to pay it back. The interest likely will still be accruing during that time period. But these are not all, the CARES Act is only for federally backed and owned mortgages. So your mortgage may or may not be in that category. However, some of the other lenders may still be doing the forbearance for people that need it. So just talk to your lender and find out. You can also go to consumerfinance.gov, and that website has a lot of information regarding the forbearance and what it entails and what you should look for. I want to stress again, though, try not to do it if you don't have to, just do everything you can to make that mortgage payment and not go down that road. They also did a foreclosure. They said the lenders could not start foreclosure proceedings for 60 days starting March 18th for anybody that just doesn't make their payment. There's no reason for foreclosure right now, though. I mean, if it's that bad and you've lost your job and you absolutely have no money to make that mortgage payment, at least go the forbearance route and don't let your house be foreclosed on.
Okay. That's good information, because some people just look at that act and think, oh, I can just not pay my mortgage. To clarify that is really important for some people who haven't done their research and maybe are just, listening. So I'll put the consumerfinance.gov in the comments as well.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
And I send out a Friday newsletter to my database every Friday, and it's a fun newsletter. Sorry. Got a call. It's a fun newsletter where I highlight a local business, and because I want to help. So I always want to help support local businesses, especially now. So now I'm highlighting businesses that are doing takeout or delivery to try to keep their doors open. And I, usually list what events are coming up that weekend. We don't have any events right now, but we will soon. And, just some fun stuff, plus a little real estate information regarding the Charleston area. And so if you'd like to be on that, feel free to text or call me at 843-276-7976, or you can go to my website, morethanjustthesale.com.
I'll make sure that those are in the comments as well for people to reach out to you. This has been very informative. Thank you very much. And
it's been great.
I love the Friday newsletter. I'm on it, and there's always helpful tips in there. And especially now with everything changing so much, it's just nice to know what the trends are and how we're actually doing in the Charleston market. I'm sure throughout the U.S. the markets are all different. So there still is hope, and I like, that we were talking about that. You had mentioned before even about the stock market and how, it's been going up and down. It's same with real estate, that there is hope here, and just to keep, planning for it to
Exactly.
get better, to plan to buy, plan to sell. Like it's just delayed at this point. And you've
Yeah, the
been,
stock market has recovered about a third to half of from where it fell at the lowest on March 28th. So even though it looks like it's going up and down every day, the actual trend is it's making its way back up. So I have, I think we'll be fine.
we'll be fine. Yeah. And I really appreciate you sharing all this information with us. And
Thank you so much
yeah,
for having me.
you're welcome. And so again, more than just the sale.com is your website, and your phone number is 843-276-7976 for anybody who wants to reach out to you, discuss any of this, maybe, even start planning for selling or buying with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much, Christine.
Thank you.
And yeah, stay well, stay safe.
You too.
And we'll see each other eventually again in person.
I hope so.
I know, I know. Well, maybe we'll see each other in the grocery store again. Who knows? But
Yeah. Yes.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Thank you, and take care. And again, I appreciate your insight on, the real estate market and the trends during this pandemic.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.